Melanie.
And I'm Michael.
And welcome to Uplift Stitches. We are a married couple, and this channel is a place where we talk about cross-stitching, board games, and all the things that make our hearts happy.
Yeah, so today is Saturday, July 6th, I think.
Yeah.
And it's
2024?
2024, yes. And this is Flosstube number 11.
Yes, it is.
If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad to have you here and hope you enjoy what you see. If you're returning, thank you for coming back and sharing this community with us. We have a fair bit of cross stitch to talk about today.
We've got a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about today because as we hinted in the last video, we went on a mystery for you guys trip, not for us. And we have had a few other things happen over the month. So
yeah. As always, I'll have chapters down below. So if you're not interested in hearing about our life update, what we've been up to the last month, you can go ahead and use that to skip ahead to the stitching or the board games or whatever you're interested in.
Yeah.
But we usually begin with a little life update because we know that we have a lot of family and friends who watch our videos, and we just want to be able to share our life with them.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and start diving into that before we get to our cross stitch.
Yeah.
So what has happened over the last month?
A lot. We were busy.
We were very busy because I know we had your family picnic with your family.
Yeah, so my family does a family reunion every summer, and they call it the family picnic because it's like a big potluck. And it's my mom's side of the family, so her siblings and my cousins and great aunts and uncles.
It's very, very big compared to my family.
Yes, mine was a small family. I think I've mentioned before I have a large extended family.
Yeah.
But it was just so wonderful to see everyone. I think my Aunt Tina and Uncle Dan are our fan club president.
I think so.
They were trying to get everyone to watch our channel.
Yeah, there's a few people who I talked to who were
yeah,
as well.
So many people in our family are so supportive of us.
Which we were very grateful for.
We are so grateful for that. I'm just so grateful for everyone's love and support and encouragement. Also, it's just wonderful to see a bunch of people that I only get to see once a year or once every couple of years.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And then not too long after that, we had our big getaway.
Yeah, so then that week we whisked away to Alaska.
To Alaska. We went on a cruise to Alaska with a couple of our friends.
Yeah, their friends had said, hey, we're going to Alaska with our family. Do you want to come? And then they said to us, hey, we're thinking about going to Alaska. Do you want to come? And we said yes.
Of course. Why would we not want to?
Yeah. And we had gone on for our honeymoon.
We went for our honeymoon
8 years ago.
Back in 2016, I think. It was in the spring, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So it's been a number of years.
Yeah. So when they asked us, we were like, yeah, we'd love to be able to see those things again.
Yeah. It was a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm.
We had you had a start on the airplane when we were flying down.
No.
Or no, not start. You had a fit.
I was working at some cross stitching the whole time. Michael doesn't really stitch on planes.
I don't stitch on planes. I read on planes mostly. So, yeah. But we had a really good first couple days on the cruise. We got to see an amazing glacier called Hubbard Glacier, which is this massive. I think it's the largest.
It's the largest tidewater glacier.
Yeah. In
North America.
Yeah. So it was huge, like 6 miles across.
Yeah. It was impressive. I actually had an emotional reaction.
She did.
Because it was just so, I don't know, it's just so beautiful.
And we got to see, it was a very active calving. If you don't know what that is, that's when the ice kind of breaks off the edge of the glacier and falls into the...
It sounds like thunder.
It does. It sounds really loud, and so it's pretty amazing. We'll probably have a few pictures in that insert here.
And it was so sweet to experience it with our friends. Our one friend was he was just chilling in the hot tub.
Chilling in the hot tub.
Watching the glacier in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Our other friend was sending videos back to her kids.
Yeah, we got to go up on the front of the boat and see it up close.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was wonderful. And then the next day we cruised through Glacier Bay, which is a national park.
Yeah, and we saw lots of wildlife.
Yeah, we saw mountain goats and
we saw some sea lions.
Sea otters, sea lions, harbor seals. Someone told me they saw a bear, but I couldn't see it.
No, I did not see the bear. It was there somewhere, I'm sure. But
yeah, but we also saw more glaciers, and it was just such a beautiful day.
We had really beautiful weather the whole trip.
We did. We had amazing weather.
Everywhere we went, they said, this is really unusual weather you guys are bringing in, because usually it's raining and cloudy. So.
We were prepared for rain.
It was actually really
Thankfully,
warm.
we didn't need the rain gear.
Except for by the glaciers, it was really warm.
Yeah.
So you think of Alaska cold, but it really was not cold. And then we, on the third day, I think we had our new start.
Yeah, so we had 3, well, no, that was when we were at Glacier Bay.
Oh, that we were at Glacier Bay?
Yeah, Glacier Bay, we each had brought a project to start on the trip, and that was the day that we decided to have our little start.
Yeah, so I started my lighthouse, and you started, I don't know.
I started Moonlight Cove, which you'll see in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to Cross Stitch. But
yeah, after that day, we had 3 days of
excursions
of stops in different cities. So our first stop was in Skagway.
Yeah, it was in Skagway, and we had a hike and float trip kind of planned for there.
Yeah, so we, with our friends and some strangers.
It wasn't a small group, though. It really wasn't huge.
No, we went on a hike. So we hiked the first mile of the Chilkoot Trail, which was a trail that was forged by
the
Tlingit tribe.
And
as a trade route. And then later on, it was used in the gold rush.
Yes, it was used in the gold rush, and the prospectors would take all of their gear, which they were
1 mile at a time.
They were required to bring enough supplies for a year because of the dangers in living in Alaska. Mm-hmm. So they had to basically take 1 ton of goods across this really actually pretty difficult trail.
Yeah. So the first mile was, I think in Alaska terms, it's probably an easy hike.
Yes. I mean, they showed
us
it showed us it was like this little tiny hill, but it really didn't feel like a tiny hill.
For us, we live in a relatively, there's hills here.
There's hills here.
But not like the hills of Alaska.
No. So it was a little rough, but enjoyable. We had a great time.
It was strenuous, but it was really amazing. The plants.
The plants and the view of the river.
Yeah, it was all just really beautiful. And then after our hike, we took a float trip.
We took a float trip down the river,
mm-hmm.
and the Chilkoot River. It was a short but relatively beautiful little float. We had a really great guide. Mm-hmm. Smiley was his name.
Yeah.
Which was kind of interesting. I never heard that, but it was great. He did a great job with it. Mm-hmm. He was very informative of all the history of the trail and, and the float and all that. So
yeah, we had a wonderful time doing that with our friends, and then we kind of explored the town.
We explored the town. We found a few shops.
I found a quilt shop, so I got some fabric, which we'll show you later.
That'll be part of our haul.
Yeah.
So
the next day we went to Juneau, which is the capital of Alaska.
It is.
Our friends had actually gone down a day early to visit the state capitol building because that's kind of one of those checklist things for our friend.
Yeah. So and I ended up going with Nancy, our friend Nancy. Mm-hmm. We went whale watching and saw also the Sentinel Lighthouse, which is what inspired my cross stitch. Mm. It was a beautiful like little park, like almost like an orchard around the lighthouse. And it's just some beautiful views of it. I got some pictures we'll insert here, but it was great. And then we went to actually do the whale watching, and we got to see a what's called a cow and her calf, and they were having a lot of fun playing around. She was teaching him how to whip his tail around, and he was doing some breeches. It was a lot of fun. I have video of that, so. That was a great excursion for me. And then you did something else.
Yeah, Alex and I went and we hiked across, or we didn't hike. There was a tiny bit of hiking. It was just more like a walk. But we canoed across Mendenhall Lake to the Mendenhall Glacier. And it was awesome. It was like 5 miles of paddling. And it was just such a cool experience. I've never been that close to a glacier. The last time we were there in 2016. It's amazing how far that glacier has receded since then, because actually the place where we were standing was covered by glacier the last time we were there.
Yeah.
But it was just such a cool experience. We had an amazing time. And
you get to see some Arctic terns, which is unusual.
I saw an Arctic tern, which is the animal that has the longest migration.
It migrates from the Antarctic to the Arctic and back.
Yeah,
back and
whichever one has summertime is where it is. So that was an awesome little bird.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
So that was... I didn't do a whole lot of shopping there. I think you might have. Did you do that? No. But it wasn't great. It was great. We just kind of relaxed afterwards.
Yeah. Then we went to Ketchikan.
Oh, yeah, Ketchikan.
And what did you do?
I actually I went with Alex, and we went on this what is called adventure carts, which are basically just 2-person giant go-karts. And we got to go on these rough logging trails up and down, and we got to see some pretty beautiful sights at the different stops they had. But it was a ton of fun, and Alex and I were both really surprised by the crowd there, because we expected people probably roughly our age, like 40s or whatever, and most of the people appeared to be in their upper 60s or 70s, which was a little bit surprising. I was,
it gives you hope for your future, though.
It does. It's always fun to learn something new. So I was surprised and like, oh, this is where I'm going to be in a few decades. I'll be up there in my 70s going on go-karts. But But it was a lot of fun. We had a great time on that trail.
So while they were doing that, Nancy and I went to Annette Island and visited the Metlakatla people. They actually were First Nations from Canada that moved to this island where they were given refuge. And now it's theirs. And it's an exciting thing for these people. Some younger members of the tribe came and they made a little beach bonfire for us and gave us lunch and talked a lot about their history, their community, their way of life, their beliefs. It was a really wonderful experience that Nancy and I both enjoyed. And then we also did kind of a wildlife safari because you had to take a boat ride out to the island and then back to the town. So
you saw a good bit of wildlife.
Yeah, we saw some harbor seals, and it was just a really beautiful day. So we really enjoyed our trip.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, she and I went over to Creek Street, which is a little historic area of the town, just to see. We didn't see any salmon in the creek, but yeah, it was a good experience.
Yeah, it was a little too early for salmon runs, but
yeah.
But it was we both had a lot of fun that day. So after that, it was just an open cruise before we got to Vancouver, which is the end stop.
Yeah, in Vancouver, we did a little bus tour. So we stopped at
Stanley
Park, and we saw the totem poles there.
And they talked about the history of those.
We went to Lynn Canyon Suspension Bridge,
which was kind of fun.
Yeah. And then we also went to a fish hatchery.
The Capilano River Hatchery.
Yeah.
Which is basically them trying to mitigate the effects they had after creating a dam. Because the salmon couldn't get back up and back down for their spawning. So that was kind of really interesting.
Yeah.
So that was our Alaskan cruise.
And then we had the long flight home.
But that wasn't too bad. It wasn't a bad flight.
No, it was a really wonderful time. Unfortunately, we both got sick.
We did, unfortunately.
So I got sick, I think, day 3, and you got sick day 5.
Pretty much, yeah. I think I caught it from you.
Yeah, we didn't realize until we got home that it was actually COVID.
It was.
We tested as soon as we got home. Yeah. So we probably sound a little
still recovering a little bit, but we're a lot better.
Yeah.
We're past the worst part.
Thankfully, it was mild for us.
It was very mild. I think probably because we were vaccinated. So
yeah.
So it's definitely not fun, but we made it through, and we're doing much better now. So it was a great trip, regardless. Some beautiful things. Well, hopefully you enjoy some of the pictures and that we're sharing with you. But,
yeah.
So
we took a few days to rest.
We did take a few days to rest before we had another whirlwind visit from your brothers.
My family came in town. So my brother, who lives in Florida, and his wife, Stephanie, they came to visit us.
And they stayed with us for a few
days. It was so wonderful and relaxing. My parents also came up. We played board games. We ate food. We visited. It was so nice. Yeah. It was what my soul needed, I think.
Yeah, I think it was just a great visit with great, with family and just good food.
Yeah. And then
I did make some of my scones.
You did.
So I made some snickerdoodle scones and some butter pecan scones.
They were very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had to work the next week a little bit. So she...
Yes, with the trip, and also we're going to Gen Con. Michael wasn't able to get a lot of vacation time off.
So
I went to visit with... and we went to my parents' house then. So my brother and sister-in-law and I all went there. And we stayed there for a few days, and there was more games and hanging out and visiting.
I was a bachelor here for a while I was working. So.
You probably enjoyed the quiet, though.
I enjoy quiet. I watch the movies that you don't typically like, but I enjoy. So it was kind of fun. But it was good to have you back. So that was the next.
Yeah, we had a quiet 4th of July. We didn't really. It was just the two of us.
It was just the two of us.
Our neighbors shot off fireworks, and we hid inside.
Yeah, we watched Yankee Doodle Dandy and just. Kind of chillax most of the day.
Yeah, and then yesterday we had our friends over for a game day, which was really nice.
We had a nice game day yesterday.
Yeah.
Played lots of games. Sorry. And we'll probably talk about at least one of those.
One of them.
At the end of our video. But so yeah, that's kind of what's been going on.
You also had some changes at work?
I did have some changes at work, yes, because... So at my work, they had 2 different teams that were doing instructional design. One for like the global online, development, and they decided they were going to merge our teams. So I kind of got merged with a whole bunch of other designers. Because my team was really small. Mm-hmm. So, but it's been nice. I knew them. I kind of worked. We worked a little bit cooperatively on projects, so I already knew them. But it was a little bit of a change and shift in structure in that. So, but it wasn't a big deal. It's definitely it took a little getting used to, but I'm kind of used to it now. So. So that was the only really notable thing at work, I think. So
I think overall we had a good month.
it was a really good month, I think. Aside from COVID, it was a great month.
Yeah. We hope that you're having a good month, that you are summer or winter.
Enjoying summer or winter, wherever you happen to be. Okay, so that was it for our life updates. Do we want to move into stitching, I guess?
Yeah, so cross stitching.
We have cross stitching, and we usually start with finishes.
We have no fully finished.
No, none of us have anything fully finished.
I didn't have time for that.
No. It was a very busy month, so no.
I cleaned up the craft room before we went on our cruise, and this is the first time I've really been in here since then.
Yes, but you do have a couple finishes.
I do have 2 finishes. One of them is actually the thing that I started on the cruise, which was Moonlight Cove by Pidgeon Coop Designs. He's coming out with a book, and it looks like it's going to be awesome.
You'll be getting it.
I might. Or it might go on my wish list.
It could be.
Okay, so this is what I started. And I was so excited to start it the day we were in Glacier Bay because we saw whales that morning. And then we were surrounded by mountains. And it was just a beautiful day. So it was a perfect day to start that. And I finished it, I think, a couple days after we got home when we were resting. So here's my finish.
It turned out beautiful.
Yeah. This is a 28 count navy by Zweigart. And I used all of the called for threads. And I love how it turned out. I think I'm going to try to find an oval frame if I'm able to.
They make those. I'm sure we can find something.
Yeah. But I'm happy with it for now. And it's going to remind me of this trip and all the fun we had. And how much I love mountains. So that was my first finish. The second finish is something that I did as a stitch along with our friend Corinne over at Corey Creates.
Oh, yeah.
And she had mentioned this was one of her summer plans. And I said, I have that. And it's got a strawberry. And there's the hashtag strawberry moon sal that's been going on.
Yep.
So I decided to work on Strawberry Faire. Corinne and I started it, I think, not quite the same day, but the same weekend. So I started this last time? I don't think I had. I think I was getting ready to.
I think you were getting ready to. You were preparing to do it.
Yes. So I did this whole thing. It went way faster than I thought it was going to. I thought I would stitch part of it this month and part of it in July.
It's done.
I
wish I was as fast as her sometimes.
Ooh, and here's my finish.
It's a beautiful.
I love it.
It's cute little.
It's so cute and sweet.
And you got the birds, bird herd.
Yeah, so I actually started with the bird. We were watching Corinne's video, and she started with the strawberry, and she gave great advice because I remembered that Lori from Once Upon a Stitch had talked about someone had given her advice, and she shared it. And I was trying to remember what it was with the strawberry. Like, she had very specific advice that I knew was going to be helpful, but I couldn't remember what it was.
I remember that, yeah. So
thankfully, Corinne in her video talked about it and said to do the darkest color first, which, Corinne, thank you. Thanks, because I was considering going back and trying to watch Lori's videos on like double time speed or something to try to find it. But yeah, Corinne gave that really helpful tidbit. So I started with the bird and came down and around, and then I tackled the strawberry, and then I did everything else. And I'm so pleased with how it turned out. I love it. I think I'm going to turn this into a little pillow. Actually, I already have
got the fabric.
Some fabric set aside, and I have some like creamy rickrack. I don't know, maybe. Or I might try to find some pomish chenille trim. It's going to be a little pillow to go in our decor. I did want to show that I did change a few colors. There's just a tiny bit of white in here, and it called for a fancy floss. I just used ecru because that was easy. And I had it. And then I also changed the yellow. So the called for yellow is this Moon Glow by Weeks Dye Works, which I had. But I stitched the flower up here, and it was just like a little bit too neon for me. I mean, this is bright. It's a very bright piece. It's much brighter than it's coming off in the video. But I decided to change it to Summer Meadow, which is a little bit darker. And it looked a little bit better on the fabric. So that was my little change to this, but overall, the rest of the colors were called for. And yeah. That's my...
They're 2 finishes.
Happy finish.
2 finishes.
2 finishes.
Yeah. It's So is that all of your finishes?
That's all my finishes.
Okay. I guess we move on to work in progress. So
yeah. Do you want to start?
I have 5. You have
8.
8. Why don't you start with the first one, and I'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, this first one is one that I know that I showed last time because I had been focused on Let Love Reign in the month of May. I did a monogamous May or monogamish. Mom told me
monogamish. Yeah.
I couldn't say that I was monogamous because I worked on multiple things. But yes, I spent a lot of time. This was kind of a focus piece for me for May. Let Love Reign by Teresa Kogut. And I didn't do any ironing today.
Nah, that's okay.
Sorry, not
a
sorry.
big deal.
And this is where it is now.
She made some pretty good progress on it.
Yeah, so in the month of May, I had come down along this whole border, and then I had started on this row under the houses. So I think I was like half done with 2 of the motifs, and I wanted to finish those motifs, which I did the night after we filmed, and then I put it away. So I haven't touched it since then. But yeah, I'm so pleased with it. I love, like, these motifs are so beautiful. And I just love how they're turning out. And yeah, I don't know when I'll pick it up again. But when I do, I'll probably try to make it a focus piece again and make some more progress on it. I'm stitching this on 36 count Willow by Colour&Cotton. And I'm using the called for and suggested DMC threads. That is the Love Reign.
Let Love Reign. It is. It's raining.
Yes. And I am just realizing I forgot to tell you what fabric my Strawberry Faire was on.
Oh, yeah.
The tag that I have for this fabric said that it's 36 count Mallow Stone by Atomic Ranch. But I think it's a 40 count because it's small. So I don't know if that tag was correct or not. So I don't really know what this fabric is. But it's like an ivory color. Sorry.
That's okay. You gotta make sure you get that in.
Yeah.
Let's see, I guess I'll do one of mine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't have a whole lot of progress on this one this month because, well, for one, it was a busy month, but also this one was in a little timeout when I was figuring out a solution. So I had already finished. We'll have the picture up. But I've already finished the actual hobbit hole itself. But I actually just did. I had started the little corner piece here. And I finished it, but there was quarter stitches in the like little diamonds, and I got stitching those. I can see if they can hold that side. I can kind of point them. So they were like right in here. There were some kind of diamond type looking ones, with quarter stitch, and the quarter stitches did not turn out in Aida. So so what I ended up just taking some time to step back and think about what I wanted to do. I ended up just doing normal cross.
You kind of set it down for a few days.
I set it down for a few days to think about, because I, of course, was aggravated.
Actually, I think you put it down before our trip, and then when we came back from the trip, you were like, I think I know what I'm going to do now.
Yeah. I took the trip to kind of think about it, because I was a little aggravated by it. But so I just have this done. I'm going to start chapter 1 probably this month and get working on that. But that's all the progress I had on that one. So it wasn't a lot of progress, but I feel good
it took some time to think.
It took some time to think. I figured out a solution. It worked. It looks fine. So
that looks great.
So that was my. Oh yeah, my Wandering in Middle Earth South. So you guys know it's by Cunning Cross Stitch, which is a Facebook group, and it's on 20 count Rustica Oatmeal Aida by Zweigart, and I'm stitching 1/1 with the called forwards mostly. I did change out. I already talked about that last time. That was on the hobbit hole, but I may or not end up changing some other stuff. I might do some glow in the dark. I'm not sure yet. So we'll see how that goes. But that was one of my whips this month. Do you want to do?
Yeah, another project that I worked on this month is 324 by Works by ABC. I started this on 324, March 24th. And I really wanted to work on this this month. I had kind of finished as much as I could of the first page. And I worked on this in March and April. And then I took a break in May to focus on my focus piece. And then my goal was to kind of work on the next page. And I achieved my goal.
She did. She's doing good.
Yeah, so I finished everything that I could of the second page.
You have to
with
get some colors.
The DMCs that we have. Eventually I will, but I think I'm just going to continue on with what we have to start. Because really these don't take a lot of thread. Yeah, but I'm so excited. I'm loving how this is looking.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah. I'm using all the Called For DMC threads in the 324 different colors. And I'm stitching this on a 36 count Sky by My Vintage Needle Arts, which is a really pale blue. I'm not sure if that's coming across.
It's not really coming across a whole lot, but it is a pale blue.
It's a pale blue. But I'm loving how it's looking. I'm loving using all these colors. It's been really great evening stitching because like these blocks, I save these for late at night. The little squares and the other ones.
They're a good late night.
Yeah, it's been great. I've been enjoying this so much. I think I'm going to put this down for July. I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Plans for sure.
But yeah, I'll pick this back up in August and see how far I can get.
Okay. All right. My next one. I'm actually completely caught up in this Sal. This is my Stardew. This is my Stardew Valley Sal by J. Marie, and there is a Facebook group for this. Mm-hmm. But this is on 18 count Rustico Oatmeal Aida by Zweigart, and I'm doing it 1/1. So I think last time I had most of this stitched. The one I've stitched now is this one right over here, which is like a TV. This is where you get a lot of your recipes and your weather reports in the game. So that's the last one that was dropped. I think she's a little behind. She also had COVID earlier. So that put her a little behind on the design work. And I did a little more fill work. I filled the rest of the top end and I started doing down the spokes between the different motifs. So it wasn't a whole lot of stitching, but I actually caught up, so it feels good to be caught up with this Sal. So this one's turning out pretty nice. I'm pretty pleased with this one. I'm looking forward to the next motif that comes out, but this one's mostly the called fors except for the pond, so, which I used in
Etoile.
So that was my second whip this month. Not a whole lot of stitching on because I was actually caught up.
Yeah.
It feels strange sometimes being caught up. So that was my second project.
All right. Well, another project that I worked on our trip was Whitaker by Stacey Nash. And I think I had mentioned in my last video that I was going to try to do the bottom half and outline Whitaker so that it would just be easy filling on our trip. And that's what I did. So right before our trip, I think 2 days before, I spent a little bit of time doing the outlining the bottom.
Yeah.
So that I could just...
It's an easy fill project.
And fill in. And it worked out amazingly. This is where you look.
Yeah, she made huge progress on this one.
Yeah. That day when we were at Vancouver, we were at the airport for
Yeah, we had a long wait for
4 hours? 6 hours?
It was like 6 hours.
It was a long time. So I basically did most of this white on his chest. But yeah. I don't remember quite where it was. I think maybe it was up to here.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were a few nights on the cruise that I worked filling it up here, and then I filled in down here. So I'm loving how it's looking. He's so cute. Now I just have to fill in his pants, and I'll be ready for winter fun.
Yeah. Join your snowman collection.
Yeah, I'm mostly using the called for. The only thing that I changed is the color of his mittens.
Oh yeah.
It called for red, which I just felt was too dark. And also, as long as I was working on that, I spent a little time also working on Paisley.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized that red is going to be Paisley's dress, which I'm not in love with. So I'm going to use that same blue. Did I pull it out? I did.
Did you?
Yeah. So this is what was called for Ruby Slipper. And I'm changing it to Teal Frost by Weeks Dye Works. It's maybe a medium teal kind of color.
I think that's a good change.
Yeah, I think I'll be happier with it. It'll be a little more wintry instead of Christmassy to me. I don't know. I'm not a fan of red.
Yeah, red's not one of your favorite colors. It's not one of my favorite colors either. So
no. Yeah. So I made the change on Whitaker, but I also worked a little bit on Paisley. So I think she was done right by her eyeballs. So I had already done the nose and the cheeks, and I think maybe the mouth, but I came in and I filled in all of this when we were kind of recovering those first few days when we were home. And that's kind of when I was like, what color is this dress? And what do I want to stitch? So now that I've kind of made that decision on changing the color, I think we're going to fill in all of the flowers that are in our dress.
Yeah.
And then do the same thing where I do the bottom half of the stitch to outline the dress. And then this can also be fill-in.
Nice fill-in project.
Yeah, for a trip or for a Zoom meeting or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so exciting.
2 snowmen.
2 more snow friends. Preparing for winter.
All right. My next project. This is my last salad I'm working on. This one is Forest Fairy Tale by Quaternion. I know there's a few other people stitching this. We just watched at least one person that I know who's doing it.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth.
From Savory Sewing. And Jen from Jen's Fiberweb.
Jen's Fiberweb. And but I'm doing this on 20 count California Sage Aida by Live and Die LA. I'm doing it 1/1, but I did change the colors, which I don't think I pulled. But
yeah. Well, we'll show you where it was last time.
I'll show you where it was last time. But I've done. This is the grand view, and then I'll zoom in a little bit to show you the two new motifs. So it's looking pretty good. I really am happy with the color difference changes I made. This is like they're all Colour&Cotton. This one it's like a teal, variegated. That's the main color. With then there's like a red and an orange, which I changed it to. So the ones that I did this time are the middle motif and the one on the right here. One of them was based on a legend by King Arthur, a fairy tale. So it is. Was basically he has to send his knights out to figure out what women want, and the answer was basically women want to be able to decide their own fate. So
yes, please.
So that was that one. The other one was this story which I wasn't familiar with about this basically ogre troll that kidnaps this woman and brings her back to her place. And there's already a female servant living there. She sees how unhappy she is, and she tells the girl to stop eating, and then she complains to the troll that this is not a good servant, she's not eating her food, and he should just take her back. So she basically rescues her, and he takes her back to her family. Mm-hmm. I was not familiar with that one. I know I can put some notes in there about what the name is. I can't remember off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. But the sal is a lot of fun. I've been enjoying this one a lot. So I am. And
you're totally caught up with that one.
I am completely caught up. This is as far as they've released.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is an off week, so the catch up week. Mm-hmm. So there'll be another.
Which is great. That's great for a sal.
It is great for a sal. So I'm really enjoying this one a lot. I definitely highly recommend it if you're into fairy tales at all. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern they've got. Mm-hmm.
And you talked a little bit, I think maybe in our previous video.
I did.
About your decision to change the colors.
I did.
Because the called for
is black. Mm-hmm. And to me, black just didn't fit my idea of fairy tales. It's a little too dark and kind of foreboding, where I thought there were more, to me, fairy tales are more mysterious, magical, and this kind of fits that field more for me. So, so that's the one I'm probably most excited about at the moment. I still enjoy the other styles, but this is kind of a new one for me. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, and it's your first time using variegated floss?
It is my first time using variegated floss. First time using Colour&Cotton, which I really like. Highly recommend Colour&Cotton. We do have the brick and mortar near us, so we're kind of we're a little spoiled.
An hour away from us.
We're a little spoiled because it's down by her parents.
It's on the way to my parents.
So we do attempt sometimes make a side trip.
Every couple months.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying the experience stitching with variegated fancy floss, which I've not done before. Yeah. So yeah, that was my third project. I know you have some other projects.
Yeah. So another one that I brought to work on our trip was Azad the Lost. This is by Miriam at Marumi Designs. I really resonated with Miriam's story and the reason that she created and designed this. She has a video where she talks about that, and I recommend you go watch that if you're interested. But my goal in May was to do the outline of Azad so that I could work on the fill-in when I was on the plane. And that worked out really well for me.
She does have a picture of it from on the plane.
Yeah, looking out the window over Olympic National Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's what Azad looks like now.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so the first flight that we had, I filled in the pattern on the wings, which was really great plain stitching because it's just a repetitive design. Inside the lines, it worked out awesomely. And I think in our last video I had showed I just took a few of each of the threads, and that worked out really well for the trip. And then Yeah, I think the second flight I worked on filling in this pattern and some of the tail. And then when we got back from our trip, or maybe a couple evenings on the trip, I worked on filling in Assad's head and kind of starting some of these other patterns on it. So I really like it a lot. I'm thinking I'm going to bring this on our trip in August.
It looks great on the fabric, which is...
Yeah, so this is a 20 count Smack the Jellyfish by Live and Die LA. And I'm using all of Miriam's called for threads. And I'm so happy with how it's looking. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. Another project that I started a few days after we got home is Flowers for Sylvia by Dee at Dee's 20 Stitches. Dee had an important surgery, and so I started this on that day to kind of celebrate and think of Dee and send some healing thoughts their way. But this is something I've been wanting to stitch since it came out, and that just felt like the perfect day to start it. I love this saying, "We are not ashamed of who we are," and the meaning behind it. It's just really beautiful. Also, it's, June is the perfect month to start this. And that's how far I got. I think I worked on this 2 or 3 nights.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm loving it. I'm using all of the called for threads. And this is actually a mystery grab bag linen. I had ordered a grab bag from Colour&Cotton, I think at some point last year or maybe the year before. And this is the last piece I had in there. It's kind of like a light blue, a grayish blue color. And I love how the colors are just popping off of that. And yeah.
It's a beautiful pattern.
I love the pattern, and I'm so pleased with how it's looking, and I'm looking forward to picking this back up in August.
All right, let's see. I have a couple other patterns.
All right.
Let's see. This was my start on the cruise. So this is the Lighthouse by White Ravens Patterns. This is an Etsy shop you can get, but this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. And I don't so I didn't get this quite this far on the actual cruise, but I did get at least a decent start. I did finish. I filled in more of the actual lighthouse down below and some of this around the sides. But on the cruise, I got up to the light itself. So it's looking really good. This is almost a page finish. So there's 4 pages. It's not a huge pattern.
No.
But this one is looking really nice, and it inspired me. I was inspired by the lighthouse we went to see. Which is kind of what brought the lighthouse in, because I know Alaska's not known for lighthouses. But, so this has been a fun pattern. It's a pretty easy pattern to stitch, which also made it a good travel one.
Well, it only has a few.
It only has a few colors, and the patterns are pretty regular for the most part. So it made it really easy to stitch. So this is on. Let me see here. I think it's 20 count white Zweigart. I'm stitching 1/1 with all the call fors. So that was my start on the cruise. Do you have any more, or do I have?
I do. I have 3 more.
3 more. So why don't you do one of yours, and I'll do my last one then.
Okay. Well, you also have a secret stitch.
I do have a secret stitch that I can't mention yet.
But you've been spending a lot of time in the evenings working on that lately.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get some good progress on, which I did. I made some good progress. I will probably do a short video when I finish that one, and then once I know the person has it, because I know they watch our channel, then we can insert that. Yeah. But it's coming along nicely. So there is a deadline, which is why I'm stitching also. So that one's been a lot of fun. So your next.
Yeah, so I sort of alluded to the fact that some of these projects aren't going to get picked up again until August. And that's because I am doing Jolly July.
Jolly July.
I love Jolly July.
Yeah.
I love Christmas.
And I'll actually be joining it as well. Jolly July.
Which we'll see in a minute.
Yes.
So one of the projects that I kind of want to make my focus piece for July is Quaker Christmas 2 by Bygone Stitches. This is a project that I actually started last year for Jolly July. And I haven't touched it since then. So I was excited to get back to it, to make some progress on it. Originally, I thought about doing a strand a day, but then the first day I sat down and I put in 8 strands, and I said, well, maybe I need to rethink this.
8 strands a day?
Yeah, so I think I'm just going to work on it as much as I want, whenever I want, and just see how far I can get. And here's what it looks like. So you can kind of see where I ended. Yeah, thank you.
You're
You
welcome.
can kind of see where I ended in July at sort of this page break here. I had done I'm doing the primary color on the first 2 pages. So I've done all of this last week. And kind of finished this big snowflakey motif, which I love. I am stitching this on a 32 count a limited edition fabric, which is kind of, a mystery, by Colour&Cotton. It's like a beigey tan kind of color.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. And I'm using actually a hank of Mist Eye thread from Colour&Cotton. They sell these on their website from time to time. Actually, I bought this one at their store opening. They had a bunch of these. And it's this really dark green to kind of medium green color. But a lot of thread.
Yeah.
Excited to use it. So I decided to change. As I mentioned, red is not my favorite color, and that's what's called for on this. So I'm doing kind of the reverse of it. So I'm doing it mostly green with a little bit of red. So all these places where you see kind of spots, there are stitches that are going to go there. They're just going to be in red, and I haven't quite figured out what that red is yet.
Yeah.
But
the green's looking really great.
The green is looking great. And this is kind of a little bit of an experiment using 1 strand on 32 count, which I think looks good. It doesn't look too thin.
No.
Like if you get up super close, it does look a little bit thin, but I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with seeing the X's and seeing the fabric through it. But I think from way back here, it
looks great.
Probably good. I'm loving this. I can't wait to see how far I get. Hoping at least for 1 page finish on this color, but maybe 2. How much will I do?
Depends how much you stitches.
We'll find out in the next video. So that was my first Jolly July. There's another project that I wanted to get back to this month that I'm going to make my Motif a Week project. I did not do Motif a Week last month as I had hoped, just with the trip and being sick, and it just didn't happen. But I'm okay with that. So I'm doing Motif a Week this month with Silver Bells by Jan Hicks Creates. This was a piece that I started in January on my grandma's birthday in remembrance of her. In celebration of her. She loved bells and Christmas. So all I had done on her birthday was this first bell in the center. So everything else I did this week it wasn't Monday because I was with my family, but I think
it would have been like
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday was my motif day. So I did the pink sparkles to kind of help me count over. And then I did this bell, and we were in the middle of watching a Flosstube, and I didn't want to try to change projects, so I did some more of the sparkles around the bells. Yeah, but I'm loving how this is looking. This is on is it 32 or 36? It's on a 32 count limited edition by Colour&Cotton, which again means it's not a standard color. It's kind of like a grayish. Beige?
Kind of a grayish beige.
Grayish?
Grayish.
I'm using the called for threads. It's a mixture of overdyed and DMC. And I think I'm only using 1 strand. But this 32 is a little bit tighter. So I think it looks really good. I'm excited to do 5 motifs on this month. And I'll be close to finish. I think I can finish this year.
Maybe so. It's not a big pattern, so.
Or maybe not. Maybe I'll draw it out forever and enjoy every
whatever
stitch.
gives you joy.
Whatever gives me the most joy.
All right, so I can bring up my Jolly July.
Yeah, I think you saw me stitching all the
I saw her
Christmas
stitching,
things.
like, you know what, I do feel kind of like a Christmas Jolly
Well,
July
you were debating,
stitch.
do I start something?
I was debating or not, if I started something in July, which should I start, what kind of thing, and then you were stitching your Jolly July. You know what, that sounds fun. I will do that. So this is one I had started last December.
Mm-hmm.
This one's called Kringle Flying Academy, which I'm sure some of you have seen.
It's by Silver Creek Samplers.
It's by Silver Creek Samplers. So this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. And I had already stitched like the letters here and his actual hat. So I started it July 4th.
Thursday. Yeah, you
4th.
started on the 4th.
4th of July. So I started stitching in his face, which is, I'm not that far yet. I think I was tired when I started it. But I got some of his hair and
His face
beard
is so cute.
and his little eyeballs and mouth. So he's looking really cute.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying I'm enjoying this a lot. This one is on 18 count Cardiff Opalescent Aida by Live and Die LA. And I'm doing it 1/1 with all the called fors. So I'm really enjoying this. I like this. I'm sure you can see the sparkle in the camera. So I think it's going to look really beautiful when it's finished with the little opalescence kind of coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like snow almost.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my thought was.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that. This will be my July stitch. I don't know if I'll finish or not. Depends how much I stitch between my
other... get a little progress on it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. So that's the important part. But that was my last whip.
And then I had a start this week. I started Frosty the Snowman. He gives me things. He usually gives everyone in my family something crafty for Christmas. And I got this cross stitch book by Joan Elliott. And I really liked these samplers, the Redwork Christmas samplers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I really love this one that says Joy. So I knew that was something that I wanted to start.
Glare on it.
What?
Get a little glare.
Glare?
There you go.
No glare? Yes,
no
glare?
No glare.
I really love this. Of course, red's not my thing, so I knew I was going to change that. But I really like the design, the way that it looks.
So she, of course, changed up
the
colors.
Oh, I changed it, of course. And here's how it looks. This is one evening of stitching. Yeah. And I am using B5200, one strand, on a 36 count creme de menthe by Needleblade Designs. And I think it's going to be cute on this.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
these snowflakes really pop. And
it was a good choice of white for that fabric.
Yeah. So, this is how far I am. We'll see how far I get this month. Along with all my other plans and everything I hope to do. Yeah, but I love it. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, is that
That's everything we worked on?
That's all the things we worked on, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was quite a bit. We had a few purchases.
We did have a few purchases. I think we each placed an order to 1, 2, 3 Stitch.
We did, because I needed a thread and some needles, so I got some 28 bones, which I like a lot.
Yeah, you like those the best. And I wanted to get some travel scissors because my travel snippers broke when we took our trip in December.
They did.
So I needed a new pair, and I don't remember who else showed these, but I thought they were so cute.
And they're super sharp.
They're cute. They're so tiny, but they're super sharp. But they have a blunt tip. So there's no... TSA has no reason to take this away from me. Because it's tiny and blunt.
I borrowed those on the trip as well.
Yeah, we both used them. We just kind of passed them back and forth as needed. And they worked out great. These are going to be my travel snippers from now on.
Yeah.
And then I also bought the 7 count fabric that I need for one of the things I'm going to start this with.
You're using Pearl Cotton for that, right?
Yes. So this is sand.
Yeah, I think that's going to be
I'm excited to try this. It's more like floppy than I thought it was going to be.
I thought it would be a little stiffer.
But I'm excited to try it. So that was my big
purchases.
Also, as we mentioned in our life update, we stopped at a quilt shop.
We did stop at a quilt shop
in Skagway.
And we decided we were going to get some fabrics to commemorate.
They had a bunch of pre-cut half-yard bundles. And I said, well, if we each pick out 2 bundles, I can make us each project bags.
Yeah. And of course, that's a great memento for a trip.
Yeah, so that'll be great when I have the time to work on them and finish it. But, so we each picked out 2 half-yard bundles.
Yeah.
The quilt shop was Quilt Alaska. Here's the information.
And the fabrics are unique to that shop. So.
They do have an online shop. They had a lot of pre-cut. Actually, our friend got a pre-cut quilt.
She got a pre-cut quilt kit, yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was a table runner or like a wall hanging quilt. I don't remember.
I don't remember, but she did get something like that.
Yeah, she got that. But we just got a little bit of fabric. So do you want to show yours?
Yeah, I could show mine. This one, I got 2 different ones. This is going to be, let's see, this is the outside. So it's like a royal.
Here, maybe if we
open it up.
Yeah, actually open it up.
That might be better.
There we go.
So I can actually show what the fabric looks like a little bit. So this is the Aurora Borealis, which kind of to me says Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is going to be the outside of my my project bag. And then to go with that, I got kind of like a galaxy pattern. So This is going to kind of be the inside of the project bag, or maybe a highlight on the very top above the zipper or something like that. But I think these are going to be a really good combination, so I can kind of hold them together to see. So I'm all thumbs today. So I think that'll look really good together. So that's going to be my project bag from Alaska.
And then the two fabrics I picked out were these cool otters.
Because we saw otters.
Yeah, because I saw otters that day. I think it's a batik fabric, which will be fun to work with. But I just love these colors and the way that the otters look.
It's a cute design.
Yeah, it's such a cute design. And then the other fabric that I picked is this lupin pattern, which we saw lupin blooming everywhere.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, it's one of the wildflowers that blooms up there in the summertime. So I just thought that'll be a great reminder to me of the beautiful things that I saw on the trip. It's another batik fabric.
We can insert a picture of it. Did we take a picture of the lupin?
I did not. Unless it's in like the background.
I might have taken one, I'm not sure. But
yeah, so I'm not sure which will be the inside and the outside, or if I'll, put a different fabric inside and make myself two bags, but I love it. So that was a fun discovery, find that we didn't think that we were going to.
It was a kind of a unique thing to get for yourself because, there's the typical souvenirs, but I thought that was just a fun way of remembering it. So that was any other purchases? I think that was
it for purchases.
That was it for purchases. I do have a Stitchy Kindness to mention. So this one, I got a new project bag.
Oh, we both do.
We both have new project bags.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, Mom,
but not sorry. So her mom made me a Peanuts bag because she knows how much I love Snoopy and the Peanuts. So this one turned out really beautiful, and I'm already using it. I think I'm storing my lighthouse, but it's got just the polka dots on the inside. But it looks really great. She made sure that Snoopy was kind of face up because he's my favorite. He's my favorite Peanut. That and Linus are my two favorites. But so that was my project bag. So
and then she made me one with this pretty floral fabric that's got positive sayings on it, with this purple on top and then a pink polka dot inside. So I'm looking forward. I have an idea of what's going to go in here. But thank you, Mom. We appreciate these.
Yes, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
I just saying the other day that I needed one, and
he was telling me he needed one, and then she showed up at our house
and
with.
she said, "Here's some project bags."
Oh,
like,
Mom,
wow.
you're so nice. Thank you. We love them.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
They're great. They're great, and just exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
So. I don't know how she knew, but she knew.
That was a good kindness.
So that was our stitching kindnesses.
We also had some people who tagged us or gave us shout outs in their videos.
Yeah, so Corinne at
Corey Creates just thanked us for shouting her out, and then she gave us a really lovely. Corinne, thank you so much for all the lovely things that you said about us.
And then Julie and Stitches.
Julie Stitches mentioned my Garden of Zig. So did Aaron and Amity and Laura at Stitching by the Shore. They all mentioned my Garden of Zig.
And we appreciate that. I loved your.
I loved working on it. It was such a joy to be a part of that stitch along. So I'm so appreciative of everyone who enjoyed my finish as much as I do.
Yeah. And then Hanukkah of a Dutch Stitcher.
We had given her a shout out a few videos ago, and we missed seeing that she had shouted us out
she gave us a really nice shout out. It was really very touching.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to thank all of those people for just mentioning us and being a part of our community.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much.
And then I had a couple people I wanted to shout out that I really liked. You had kind of just recently introduced me to Jacinta over at Crafting on the Plains.
I've been watching Jacinta's videos since the beginning.
Yeah. She
works on some projects that are similar to things that I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
And she's also a multi-crafter, so she quilts and knits and sews.
Yeah.
She makes dresses for her child.
She does, and I hadn't watched her before, and I just really have been enjoying watching her Flosstube lately.
Yeah.
And the other person I wanted to mention.
And she just finished the Mill Hill pretzel.
Oh, that's right. I think that was what part of the things that caught my attention is like I love the Mill Hill pretzel.
I think you have that kit.
I do have that kit, which I haven't stitched yet. But it'll probably be coming up sometime in October.
Yeah.
But the other person I was going to mention was her name's Caitlin, and she's a new Flosstuber. And her channel is called Stitch Read Repeat. She's from the UK, I believe, right?
No, she's lived all over the place.
She's lived all over the place.
I think she lives on the East Coast somewhere now.
Is she on the East Coast? But I really enjoyed her couple videos. She's got 2 videos out now. And she stitches a lot of interesting patterns.
Yeah, she works on a variety of things. She just has a really positive
energy, and she does a little bit of reading, so she talks a little bit about her books she reads, which
she seems like she has such a generous heart in her videos that comes across.
It does. So I've really enjoyed her. She's like I said, she's a new Flosstuber, so go check her out. She's a lot of fun. Enjoyed to read. Anybody else you wanted to mention?
I mean, I feel like I haven't watched as much Flosstube this month with being gone.
Yeah, we need to get caught up again because with the trip and the family over and that we just got behind on some more Flosstubing. But
yeah.
So those were a couple.
But if you make Flosstubes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I guess plans is that next?
Yes.
So we
can plans. Let me shuffle something. What are your plans?
So I'm obviously going to continue my 3 sows because I'm trying to get caught up in the middle of her sow still. I'm still behind on that one, but the other 2 are caught up at least. I know I'm going to continue my lighthouse that I started. I'm going to try to put enough stitches in that to maybe get close to finish. We'll see. But I do want to bring out my Fantasy Winter Castle again.
Oh yeah.
So there is that because I didn't have any time to do stitches on that in June, but maybe July because it's also wintry. Almost fits the Jolly July, not quite, but almost. And I do have a new pattern that I mentioned last time that I was thinking about getting to do, and inspired by Hanukkah. And I did buy it, so I still have to. Where did I put?
I don't know.
Oh, here it is. I did buy it. I need to get fabric picked out to figure out, and I know I'm going to add a little extra space. So, but this is the 63 USA National Parks. It is by Stitch and Madness. It's I think I'm going to do 20 count, but I might do 18. I'm not sure how small I want it.
Okay.
I haven't decided. That's why I haven't decided. I'll probably do the color force because changing colors on this kind of thing.
Show the people.
Show the people. Yes. So this is the pattern. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah.
It's little.
It's
snapshots.
They're like 40 by 50 size snapshots of all the national parks. So this is like 63 U.S. national parks, and Hanukkah was doing the like world monuments or something like that. But this one obviously hits very close to home since we love going to national parks anyway. So my plan is to I'm going to create a large border around the whole thing, but then I'm going to add a space so that when you and I go visit the national park, I can add a small green border around it to say we've actually done it, and I might leave a little extra space below the words to do like the dates we finished. We actually went to see it. That's my plan. So I thought it'd be kind of a fun reminder of. Yes, we visited these parks on these dates, and so I think that's my general plan. It's going to take a little figuring out to see how much extra space I need to leave, but I think this will be fun. It's going to be a long project because there's quite a bit of stitching. I know they're only 40 by 50, but there's a lot of them. So it's going to be...
And they're full coverage.
And they're full coverage. So it's going to take up, but I think this is going to be a really beautiful memento of our national park visits, so... That was one of the future plans. I don't know if I'll end up starting in July or not. Depends on how fastly I get my fabric figured out, get the dimensions figured out, but that might be a future plan for me as well. And of course, my Jolly July, that's also going to take place. So I have a lot of things I'm going to stitch on this month. I don't know how I'll fit them all in.
Maybe you won't.
Maybe I won't.
Maybe you will.
Or maybe I'll find something new that I haven't thought of yet. So who knows? Those are my plans. What about you? What are your plans?
So I'm going to be doing Jolly July. I'm going to continue working on the Quicker Christmas 2 and the Redwork Sampler. So it's
I think
Christmas Redwork Sampler.
Something like that.
The Silver Bells will be my Motif of Week project. And then I'm also planning on starting 4 Santas. So I'm going to start a Santa every Sunday.
Oh, I didn't know about
because
that.
I have these Santa patterns that have been piling up because I do the Snow Friends in December. So I don't get to stitching on Santas because I'm focused on the Snow Friends. But I want to stitch them. So this is the month. This is when I'm going to start them.
It's a good month for it.
So I had showed that I had bought that 7 count fabric that's going to be for one of these Prairie Schooler Santas. I think I'm going to start with this sunflower. The one with the sunflowers. Because it's kind of summery. But it's also Santa. So I'm going to start with that one. I want to do all 3 of these, but I think that's the one I'm going to start with this month. And I have the pearl cotton all ready to go. Will I start this today? Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow Sunday.
Maybe.
I don't know. It is July.
I haven't planned out like which Sunday I'm going to start which one, but all right, this is one. I'm also definitely going to start Reindeer Games by Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. I'm going to start with this one with Santa on top of the blue sweater reindeer. I think all of these are cute, and I'll do all of these eventually, but I think that's going to be my focus for the day that I start this. I also am going to do I Believe in Christmas by Annie B's Folk Art. This is a pattern that my mom had passed to me. She had done the Snow Friend at some point, but I thought if I start the Santa in July and start the Snow Friend as one of my 12 days of Snow Friends, I can do both of these this year. And then I kind of have 2 options, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. Well, I could do another one of the Prairie Schooler ones as my 4th one.
Okay.
Or I could do this Basket Full of Wintertime by Brenda Gervais. This is another one my mom had passed to me that she had done a few years ago, which I love. I think it's really cute. So this could be an option for a Santa for me to start. And the other one is this St. Nick's Berries by Erica Michaels. Erica Michaels. I had bought this at Galleria, I think 3 years ago, and haven't touched it or stitched on it. So I think I would do the Big Berry.
So she has lots of options.
It's an option. So my July shall be very jolly. And that is my focus.
That is your focus this month.
Yes, and my plans.
I just feel good I got one jolly added. I don't stitch as fast as so yeah, I think that's all. Is that all of your plans? All of my plans?
That's all of my plans.
So do you have any sewing to talk about?
I do have a little bit of sewing, so I made a few project bags. I had mentioned last time that Michael had wanted a travel size project bag, and we looked through my fabric, and he had some left over from another bag I had made last year, maybe?
Last year.
A full-size bag. We had enough that I could make a travel-size bag, so it's this Zelda.
Yeah, it got used already on the trip for my lighthouse.
Yeah, he brought it. He had it full of products.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just kind of made it a half size. So this is a regular size one. It's about half.
It's about
size.
half, yeah.
So those kind of half size patterns will fit well in here. I think you had to fold yours in half.
Yeah.
It worked.
It worked well.
And then I made 2 envelope project bags following Vanna Pfeiffer's envelope project bag tutorial video, which I'll link below. But I love it. I got these fabrics at Joann's. So it's this pretty bright color, and I already had this white floral inside. Make a little envelope. I didn't do Velcro or anything. I think it'll be fine. I can always go back and add that later if I want to. And then this is another fabric I got at Joann's. And the inside is, I think this is from Lori Holt. I had from something else, I don't remember. But I had enough to do it. So that's that. And again, I didn't put that on here, but I think it's okay for now. I did end up having to do kind of Franken fleecing because I didn't have like big pieces, but I had strips. So each of these has like 2 long strips of fleece inside, but it worked out, and I'm the one who's using these, and I'm fine with that. So yeah, so that's nice. I've got some projects in there already I had to take out to show them to you, but I'll put those projects back in there.
Yeah.
And that was all my sewing.
That was all your sewing?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have anything else before we get to our board game section?
I don't think so.
Okay. So if you've been here with us this long and you're not really into board games, thank you for joining us today.
Mm-hmm.
We're grateful to have you as a part of our community. We hope you have a good rest of July if you're leaving us and doing the things you love with the people you love.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are staying with us,
I'm not sure when we'll be back. It'll be sometime in August.
It'll probably be.
We're going to be gone the first weekend in August,
Yeah,
so
it
we might film before we leave or after we get back,
After
or
we
the
get
following weekend. I'm not sure.
We're not sure exactly when.
If we're a little bit late, don't worry, don't fret, don't frown. We'll be back.
That is our Gen Con trip, so
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
But we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, and
if you're interested in hearing about the board games we played this month, stick around.
And if you are new and you liked what you saw, please do subscribe if you're leaving us, and ring the bell and all the things we do here. So, on that note, I guess we'll go ahead and transition to our board games.
Yeah.
So, just give us a moment. All right, we are back, and this is our board game segment. So, you think you usually have a graphic you show of all the games we played over the entire month?
Yes, I might have to do a little editing because there's 2 graphics this month. Because we played 54 games.
We played a lot of games this month. A lot of games.
Yes, it was a good month for gaming.
Although 12 of those were Wingspan.
Well, yes, we'll get to that. But let me give you a breakdown of the games that we played and who we played them with.
Yeah.
I think we had mentioned in our last video that for Michael's brother's birthday, we played a round of Hero Quest.
We did.
So that counts for this month. My sister-in-law works in education, early childhood education, and so she's off for the summer. And so she and I spent a couple afternoons playing games on Board Game Arena, which is a website where you can play board games online. They do have a free version, but I am a paid member, so I have access to all the games. But there are a bunch of games on there. It was actually something that we found in the early part of the pandemic as a way to play games with some of the people that we love.
Yeah, it's a great platform. It really works well. So
yeah, so she and I spent a few afternoons playing a bunch of games together, which was a lot of fun. So over the course of the month, we played 4 games of Potion Explosion, 4 games of King Domino, 1 of Takenoko, 2 of Can't Stop, 1 of Stone Age, and 1 of Wingspan. When we were on the cruise, we had brought a few games along that we played with our friends. We played 1 game of Yahtzee, 2 games of Ravine, 1 game of 5 Crowns, and 2 games of Pandemic. We also brought a deck of cards and played a few games at the airport of Crazy Eights and Kings in the Corner. With my family, while they were here staying with us and while I was visiting at my parents' house, we played a ton of games. Are you ready for this list?
I'm ready.
All right. We played 1 game of Hadrian's Wall, 2 of Trailblazers, 1 of Parks, 1 of Pretty Clever, 1 of Castles of Mad King Ludwig, 1 of Creature Comforts, 1 of Mariposas, 1 of Cascadia, 1 Wingspan, 1 of Flamecraft, 1 of Castaways, 1 of Disney Animated, 1 Sushi Go Party, 1 Azul Chocolate Master, and 1 Beacon Patrol.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Lots of games.
Yeah. And then Michael and I, on our own, played 1 game of Trails of Tucana, 9 games of Wingspan, 3 games of Parks, and 4 games of Weirdwood Manor.
Yeah.
That's a long list.
Yeah.
But it was a great month for gaming.
It was a great month for gaming.
Yeah.
So, per our usual
We'll
rule,
have another long list in July because we've already played a bunch of games.
Yeah. Per our usual, we only talk about the games that we played 4 or more times.
Yes. So the game we obviously played the most was Wingspan. That is our most played game.
And we might review it sometime in the future, but
yeah,
right now
we've talked about it in a previous video.
Yeah, so we'll pass on talking about that for the time being.
Yes. So the 2 games we're going to talk about today are Parks and Weirdwood Manor.
So this is Parks. This is what the box looks like. It is for 1 to 5 players, right? And so
this was a game that had been gifted to us a few years ago.
Yeah.
That we rebought after the fire because we liked it so much.
Yeah, it's a fun little game. The idea is that you're traveling through the different parks.
Yeah, it's a game all about visiting the national parks. You're kind of going on a hike along a trail and gathering resources, which you use to
visit the parks, essentially.
Visit other parks. And it's a game where you're gaining points by visiting parks.
Yeah, visiting parks, you're taking pictures. And there's also some like personal goals that you can work towards. So, because each of the parks has 1 of 3 different symbols, is it 4 different symbols?
4
different symbols. And so some of your goals will involve getting certain numbers of the whatever symbol. So, and you go through 4 seasons. 4 different seasons. So you'll hike you have 2 little hikers that go on this trail to gather resources. One of the rules as you're hiking is you can't go on the same square as somebody else unless you use your campfire, which is the one you use per season. So there's a little bit of strategy involved in timing how you get through the different pathway and get your resources and which one, because there's a limit on how many resources you can hold at one time. And you also have canteens. And you can maybe talk to us.
Well, you use them throughout the game to get resources or do certain actions. Really, it's a game that is focused on the artwork that is done in celebration of each of the parks. And so I really enjoy the game visually, seeing the different artwork, thinking about the different parks that I've been to. We have 2 expansions for this game. One adds an overnight component where there's places you can pitch a tent, and the other one adds wildlife. So there's a bison who, if you visit the park that the bison is at, you get an extra bonus. It's a game that we love, but we haven't played in a long time. We actually hadn't played this in over a year.
Over a year?
Yeah, when I went to log our first game of it.
And it's pretty easy to learn. It's not a very complicated
Oh yeah,
game.
I would say it's a great family game.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of reading. It's something that you could do. There's also a solo game, which I had played back, I think, at some point after the fire when we were at one of the places we were staying. I played it a bunch of times. And it's a pretty good solo game.
Yeah, I have not played the solo version, but I'm sure it is a good solo game. But it is a great family game because it's easy to learn.
Yeah. They do have a slightly easier version of this game. And they also have a series of games that are made with the same artwork. I think there's some memory style games. Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely highly recommend this for families.
Especially if
you love parks.
Yeah, if you love the national parks.
Yeah, because there's some beautiful artwork and there's always like little information about each of the park at the very bottom. Just a little bit of information to kind of whet your appetite for learning.
So that's parks.
That is parks. It's a lot of fun. It's about an hour-ish.
It probably depends on the player count. I think when you and I played, it was maybe half an hour, 40 minutes.
When we played, yeah. But if you
play
with
I played with my dad, and it took probably an hour.
Probably about an hour.
Yeah.
So depending on how many people you're playing with.
But he also hadn't played it. I don't think we had logged to play with him since we got it.
Over a year?
Yeah, so it's been a really long time. So we kind of had to do a rules refresh.
Yeah. So that is parks. And then the other game we played is a new game we just got called Weirdwood Manor.
It's a game that you had backed on Kickstarter?
I had backed this on Kickstarter.
We actually found out about this game at Gen Con 2 years ago. They had a prototype, and we're talking about the design of the game. And we thought it sounded like something we might like because it's a cooperative game.
Yeah. So the basic premise is that you're, I guess, apprentice magic users, right? And your teacher is...
Apparently it's based on a children's book series.
Is it?
Yeah, children's chapter books.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the characters that are in it are in those books.
And so the basic idea is your teacher has been captured by these scarab beetles that are minions of whatever.
Well, there's 3 different monsters, and I think that's the particular thing of this monster.
Okay.
I don't know if that's it for all
We've only played one of the monsters,
against
so that's my only experience of it right now. And so you play one of these different apprentices that you're trying to go and stop the big boss guy from destroying the mansion.
Yeah, it's like kind of a magical mansion, and it's affected by time. So as the game goes on, the hallways shift, which kind of either helps or hinders you and your ability to get to different rooms.
Because you're trying to go and gather resources so you can upgrade your ability to attack and ability to do stuff, and so you're trying to take down the main boss guy.
And you have 12 days to do it.
You have 12 days to do it.
But as you're playing cards and as the monster's taking their turn, they're kind of advancing time.
Yeah. So you have like 4 different time slots that you can play a card to. And depending on where you play it, it spins the time around more or less, depending on how far you have to go. And so time could advance really quickly as we learned some of the playthroughs where you can't play the slot you want to, and it makes it go to a new day because you have to go so far. And as the days advance, the main boss guy gets harder.
He gets more angry.
He gets angrier and angrier at you. So there's the element of trying to get things done quicker because you don't want him to get angry because he gets harder to beat. We haven't quite figured out the most effective
We've played it 5
strategies.
times, and we've lost every time.
And we haven't really been close either.
No, we have not.
So we're missing something. I'm not sure why.
I feel like we need some more plays.
More plays, and I think we need to watch reviews.
There was a playthrough with the designer of the game, and I watched that, and we're doing all the rules properly.
But we're missing something.
But I think we're missing some sort of...
key elements that we need to do.
Yes. It's like we understand what we're supposed to do, but we're not doing it effectively enough.
Or the right order.
Or efficiently enough.
What we need to do early,
right.
There's something we're missing. We need to figure out. Because it's going to be a fun game once we figure it out.
Yes. They also have family rules.
There's family rules.
So there are some things that change that you can play it with younger people. Yeah. They also have a solo version, which I haven't tried yet. But I was actually reading about last night some people's reviews on the solo version.
So
we played it with 4 and with 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting game, and I think we both are interested in trying it more, trying to figure out the puzzle of what we're doing.
Because it is cooperative. I mean, everybody's working together. You're not fighting each other. So
each person has a unique character with unique abilities.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we've
effectively used them.
Yeah.
So there's lots to figure out still.
Yeah. But I think I'm excited to try it and figure it out.
It's not one of those games where it's so hard you figure out you're never going to win.
Winning is possible.
I think winning is possible if you play it the right way.
We're just not playing it the right way.
Because there are some games we play that we're like, okay, this is just not going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
And we get rid of it usually.
Yeah.
So I definitely think this is going to be a fun game when we figure out what the... And we'll maybe update that at some point when we figure it out.
Yeah.
This is how you play and win. But it definitely was a good purchase. I would recommend it if you're into cooperative games. Fun game.
Our names are in the rule book.
Our names are in the rule because we backed it.
Because we backed it.
So if you get a copy, you will see that in the rule book.
Yeah.
But
it seems like it's going to be a great game and a good family cooperative game. Yeah, we just need more plays of it.
Yeah, once we figure it out, we can update you and let you know what the secret is.
Yeah.
Because...
Or if there is no secret.
Maybe there is no secret. We're just unlucky.
Yeah.
Also possible. I think that's it for our games. I think.
Those were the only games we played. I mean, I played King Domino and Potion Explosion 4 times each, but those aren't games that we have.
No.
But they are great games. They're great family games. In Potion Explosion, there's like this marble component where you're drawing marbles, and as they clink together, things happen, and you're making potions, and it's a lot of fun. And King Domino is another great family game. It's a tile-laying game where instead of numbers like dominoes, there's different terrain types, and you're building a little kingdom. So they're both great family games, and my sister and I both enjoy playing them.
Yeah, so I think that's it for us today, though.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll let you guys go. If you're still with us this long, then I guess you like something about us. If you, I hope you enjoy your plans in July. If you're a stitcher, hope you enjoy Jolly July if you're taking part. Otherwise, I just hope you enjoy doing the things you love with the people you love.
Yeah.
And have a wonderful July.
Yeah, we'll be back in August. We don't know when we're going to Gen Con. So we're very excited about that. If you're going to be there and you want to play a game with us, let us know.
Please let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to meet up and play a game. But
other than that, have a wonderful July, and we'll see you in about a month-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, and if you are new and you're still with us, please do subscribe if you like us, and we will see you again soon.
Yeah. We love you.
Love you.
Bye.